You know, this has to be one, if not the most requested series since I first started my channel. Recently, I've been watching through the anime and gathering information for future videos, and I've managed to come across a few things in the series that are pretty interesting that maybe you guys didn't initially pick up on. So today, we're going to be looking at 10 things you probably missed while watching Fairy Tail. A number of you guys have suggested I make this video for quite some time now, so I do apologize on taking so long. Also, just be aware there will be spoilers in this video. Near the beginning of episode 2, right as Lucy takes her first steps inside of the Fairy Tail Guild Hall, a gigantic fight breaks out among its members. For essentially no reason really, however, it is through all of this chaos that we learn a bit more about each of the soon-to-be relevant characters, such as Loki, who is described as a lady killer / most elegant of bachelors. Well, maybe not for Lucy. However, if you pay close attention to the book that Lucy is holding during the specific scene, you can actually spot a picture of Jalal at the very top of one of its pages. Or Seagrain, I guess. I never really understood this character all that well, to be completely honest with you. Is there only one of him, or are there 11? Either way, there should be no way that Lucy should know of either one, as her first encounter with him isn't until much later, making this most likely an Easter egg snuck in by the animation team. Take a quick moment and watch this specific scene from episode 10 of the Fairy Tail anime.
With pleasure! You're not allowed on the second floor, Natsu. At least not yet.
I'm going to guess most of you already missed it, so let me just go back a bit. To right about here. To be completely honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what exactly this critter even is. However, it might be linked to Hiro Mashima's previous work titled Rave Master, which features creatures of similar design, although it doesn't seem to play any significant role within Fairy Tail. And this, along with others, have been spotted various times throughout the series. Something that I found truly astonishing, however, are the number of appearances these creatures have actually made. And when I say appearances, I'm talking upwards of triple digits. Usually they can be spotted hiding somewhere in the background, however a number of them have been placed in more obvious locations, to the point that you'll start asking yourself, how the heck did I even miss that in the first place? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure which episodes do and do not feature these little guys, but I have found a couple of videos on YouTube dedicated to pointing them out. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys are curious to go look at those. Personally, I never noticed a single one in my time of watching Fairy Tail, but to be honest, I don't think I'm really all that observant compared to some other people. I'm curious to hear if any of you guys have ever come across one prior to watching this video. In Japanese, Natsu's name actually translates to summer. This name was most likely given to him because of his hot-blooded nature, as well as his use of fire magic. However, the real meaning of his name goes much deeper than you might actually think. In fact, across all of his previous works, Hiro Mashima has repeatedly named his main characters after the 4 different seasons. The character Haru from Rave Master directly translates to spring, Aki from Monster Soul translates to autumn, and Mafuyu from Mashima's one-shot series fighting group Mixture translates to midwinter. And to top it off, Shiki from Monster Hunter translates to 4 seasons. The Jigglebutt gang, whom I don't really think need any further introduction, are actually reoccurring characters from Hiro Mashima's previous work titled Rave Master, even having their own specific names, which are Wonderful Gochi, Kalen Berg, and Marco Belunge. To be honest with you, I'll be pretty surprised if I got any of those names right. However, these aren't the only characters that Mashima has decided to carry over from other works. 2 examples being Lucy's celestial spirit Plu and even Jalal. Plu was directly influenced from a character with the same name from Rave Master, while Jalal was influenced by a character by the name of Siegheart, which ultimately led to Jalal's alternate counterpart, Seagrain. I know, as if his character wasn't already confusing enough, there is another Jalal. But what if I told you there was one more to add to the equation? Yes, there was a character even before Siegheart. He is known as Magic Illusion and originated from a one-shot manga Mashima created titled Magician. To those of you watching this video, I assume you're all familiar with the way the Fairy Tail Guild functions in terms of finding work. For those who forgot or are maybe unaware, there is a request board located within the main hall in which members are able to search and decide on a specific task, which when completed will earn some sort of reward, either money or a valuable item. Well, if you pay attention, you may have noticed this specific poster of what appears to be a wanted ad featuring a picture of Nessie, aka the Loch Ness Monster. What's interesting about it, however, however, is that this poster has appeared multiple times since the very beginning of Fairy Tail, appearing as far as 30 episodes after the start of the second series, as well as long after the 7-year time skip, meaning that over the course of more than 7 years, no one was able to complete this job. It's honestly kind of hard to believe considering the number of powerful wizards the Fairy Tail Guild has, but I feel that perhaps there is a little more meaning behind it. As the old legend goes, there is some sort of bizarre creature rumored to be living within a lake located somewhere in the Scottish Highlands, known as the Loch Ness. However, all sightings and evidence for this has been brushed aside as nothing more than a hoax. To this day, no one has ever found this mysterious beast, which, if you really think about it, might actually be the reason as to why this ad has remained on the board untouched for so long. The truth is that despite the undeniable strength of the Fairy Tail Guild, no one has been able to locate Old Nessie to complete the specific task. The only question that remains is who actually put up this seemingly impossible job to begin with and why. Perhaps Old Nessie snuck in one night and slipped the ad on herself with hopes of making a new friend, who really knows. When you think of the character Urza, normally one of 3 things will come to mind. Those 3 being Scarlet, Titania, and Death, because she's about to come over and beat that ass. But why Titania? The name does sound rather unfitting at first glance. However, it is actually a reference to a character within the popular Shakespeare play titled A Midsummer's Night Dream, a fairy queen known as Titania. Creator Hiro Mishima thought it would be an appropriate title to carry over, seeing as how Urza is arguably the most powerful female wizard of her guild, essentially making her the queen of Fairy Tail. There is actually a hidden reference to the anime Log Horizon within the episode titled Fairy Tale of Dead Men, which, by the way, has to be one of the most bizarre episodes in the series I think I've ever seen. During this specific scene, one man highly resembles the character Shiro. Not entirely sure if that's how you say his name, but what's really interesting is that if you actually go back and watch this specific scene in the English version, this reference is actually taken out. Likewise, one of the girls on the right actually has her hair modified to a different color, most likely meaning that she too may be a reference to another anime character, but to tell you the truth, I have no idea who she might be. If anyone watching can think of a character she may bear resemblance to, be sure to let us know in the comment down below. On the cover of chapter 431 of the Fairy Tail manga, there is actually a hidden reference to a particular series which I'm sure a number of my subscribers are already familiar with. Let me try to make it a tad bit easier for you. Located underneath the fading text, the signature of Blackstar from Soul Eater can actually be seen on Gray's belt. Now, normally when I make this type of video, I tend to focus more on information from the anime series and try to stay away from its manga counterpart as much as possible. However, I decided this one was worth including just for all my Soul Eater homies out there. The doll that Juvia is seen wearing during her earlier appearances in the series is what's known as a Teru Teru Bozu. These traditional dolls, believed to have the power to stop rain and bring good weather, were first handmade and used by Japanese farmers, but eventually became popular among urban dwellers during the Edo period, especially children. When she was growing up, Juvia was rejected and despised due to her inability to prevent rain from falling wherever she went, often being called gloomy by others. However, after her first encounter with Gray, the rain finally came to a stop, and thus she had no need to carry the doll any longer. A slight inconsistency that you may have overlooked regarding the character Lizana is the placement of her Fairy Tail emblem. In her first few appearances within the series, she is shown to have the stamp on her left shoulder that looks much like the symbol worn by Natsu. However, after her return from Edelus, as well as all later flashbacks, the stamp was instead moved onto her thigh. The color was also changed from red to white. And there you have it, guys, 10 things you probably missed in Fairy Tail. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new from it. Sorry I missed an upload last week. I was actually having some technical difficulties with my computer, and with Thanksgiving going on, I was a bit busier than usual. Hopefully you guys did have a good one with friends and family. Just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you all. You guys are the best. If you guys made it to the end of this video, go ahead and comment Blackstar down below to let me know. From what I've been hearing lately, YouTube has been having all sorts of glitches, so if you could do that as well as leave a like on this video, guys, it would help me a lot more than you think. And cue the outro. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you could tap that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe for future videos. If you have an idea for a top 10, leave a comment down below and make top 10s on just about anything. With that being said, I'll thank you for watching, and see you next time.